Another side deck regional has come and gone, and, well, you can really tell that the meta has changed here. Changed enough that Based is still running it down. Main and Cyberse Eldlich is still running around the best. Let's dig on into this regional breakdown, shall we? Don't be like the 30% of you guys that have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can get to 103,000, baby. So the regional breakdown for the side deck here looks pretty normal for what I would say for this format. Based had 2 decks in Top Cut. Now, you guys know that that's the combination hybrid deck that does all sorts of crazy stuff here. We'll show some of those deck profiles here in a second for that. But, okay, so basic stuff here. 2 Cyberse Eldlich, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you know, I can't say that I'm surprised to see that Cyberse Eldlich is continuing this, what we would say, grow of popularity at this point in time, because, you know, I really consider it to be the real predecessor right behind, you know, Based in terms of what it can do. You know, one card scythe locking the opponent is really no easy feat these days, ladies and gentlemen. So, am I surprised to see that it's doing well? No, not at all. Now, our rogue, just kidding. So we had one Floowandereeze player make it into Top Cut. You know, we've talked a lot about Journey on this channel, and you've seen a lot of like the power that M-Pen and friends really do. And you know, you look at another regional like this, and you're like, well, you know, it did relatively well. No surprise there. Dragon Link had another fantastic showing. Remember, it only takes one good player to be the pilot behind Dragon Link here, and you're just like, oh, you know, what do I do? One Tenyi Sword Soul as well, which, you know, honestly, Tenyi Sword Soul still continuing to be that deck that I think a lot of players look at and they're like, well, you know, like, is it still a crazy good deck? Yeah, I really do think Tenyi Sword Soul maintains its presence in the metagame as one of those better pick options here. And then we had one hero player creep into Top Cut. And I'm not really sure how they managed to pull that one off, ladies and gentlemen, but kudos to seeing heroes getting a nice revision here on the metagame. Let's dig into those deck lists, shall we? All right, the first list we're going to be looking at here is actually first place out of the side deck regional this weekend. It's actually Sword Soul Tenyi. Now, I haven't seen Sword Soul Tenyi really get much of an edge over the competition as of late. Actually, this deck more so has struggled lately to kind of get a foot off of the ground here. So when you get the chance to see a deck like this finally getting some sort of placing in an event, you know what? It's nice. So standard Sword Soul ratios. I mean, triple Moyi, double Tai with the triple Long Yu. Triple Ecclesia pretty much has also been a norm at this point in time. If you've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, you kind of struggle-luggle a little bit in this format. Now, remember, you still are playing double E-Telly, double Ghost Ogre. Remember, Ghost Ogre does double down as a tuner monster for you, so you can get that extra value here. Though playing 46 cards feels a little bit bulkier in my opinion, I do think that this does give you a little bit more edge for you to be able to handle, I guess, really certain matchups a little bit better. I also see down here that we have an interesting tech choice of Twin Twister down here, which, that's actually kind of interesting. That means that Twin Twister kind of gives you a little bit more back row popping, which gives you just a little bit more, guess it, ladies and gentlemen, control for your life. Outside of that, Sword Soul Tenyi still looks very basic. You don't get a lot of innovation room with this deck, and it's really sad to say that because on paper, this deck seems like it could be really cool. All right, next up here is Floowandereeze. Now, Flunder has been really struggling this format. Even though like this deck has some really good matchups and M-Pen is a heck of a card, ladies and gentlemen, Base just kind of overpowers this deck. You know, when you continuously snowball affect a deck that kind of gets grinded out a little bit, you kind of got to ask yourself, well, you know, is it my problem or is it an overall us problem? You know, like, is there something that we can do to try to, you know, fix this? And I think that as the deck itself is perfectly fine, I do see that we have extended out our hand trap package here also to incorporate Ghost Ogres. You know, it's, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you look at a format like this and you're like, well, you know, Ogre's a good hand trap. Yeah, being able to pop the Faithful Adventures and force your opponent just to go, you know, it's rough. All right, and like I said, I see that we have all 3 of them in here. Now, we're seeing a lot more Raigekis too. I've been seeing Raigeki as like that go-to side deck card by a lot of players. A lot of players are kind of taking advantage of this, and I'm glad to see that Raigeki has found its way into the metagame as kind of that breaker of fields. Because, I mean, Raigeki is an amazing card, but you also have its brother Lightning Storm sitting right next to it, which is also aka Harpy's Feather Duster as well. So not a bad second place finish here. Now, Nicholas brought Based to the table. Now, what is Based? So basically, you have a nice little splash of 10 yen here, so you can get your things off the ground here. Of course, you have the Punk Engine, and of course, you have Small Worlds, ladies and gentlemen. The thing that just, I think, impresses me most about this deck is just how much of a homunculus it actually is to be able to play. And a lot of players that'll look at this, once again, really will just be like, oh, crap, like, what am I supposed to do when playing against this? Like, the deck ceiling is just incredibly high, and fortunately, I think the answer is there's not really a lot you can do against Based. Unfortunately, I think once this deck kind of starts going, I feel like your matchups are just incredibly hard. Also, you got to give a shout out here to Satellite Warrior. Finally having a way to access this card, it's nuts. All right. Also, I mean, every integral piece in this deck goes. The fact that your Borreload Savage converts into a Baron de Fleur. You know, the fact that Mare is just free token spawns, so you can climb up and do additional synchro plays. Every bit and piece of this deck serves a purpose, and a lot of players, once again, are going to look at this and go, it does take a big brain to play this. I'm not saying that I'm not smart enough. I really am not smart enough to play this. Please. If you know how to play this deck, you are by far probably one of the better players in the game as of late. And next up here is Ramiro Steinman. Now, this is our hero list, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I gotta give a shout out here to the UW Yu-Gi-Oh! Club, and Jim Doe's YouTube channel is going to have a full breakdown for that. Now, if you're like, who is Jim Doe? Well, Jim Doe also got 8th place out of this regional, so we're going to have a link down below for that YouTube video as well, so you guys will get the chance to kind of peek on in there and have an idea as to what's going on here. So for this list, we are basic hero stuff. So we have 2 Ash, the 1 Denier, 2 Malicious, 2 Drolls, the 1 Honest Neos, 2 Liquid Soldiers, 2 Shadow Mist with the 1 Solid Soldier, triple Stratos, the 2 Ghost Ogres. We have triple Faris with double increase, that's pretty normal. We have 2 Vions with 2 Hero Lives, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, triple E-Emergency Call. We have triple Droplet with the 2 Fusion Destiny, triple Mass Change, 1 Miracle Fusion, 1 Poly, and we have 1 Reinforcement of the Army. Down here in the extract, we have the 1 Wonder Driver, the 1 Dread Decimator, 2 copies of Cross Crusader, 1 Verti Anaconda, 1 Baguski with 1 Dweller. We have 1 copy of Trinity, 2 Dark Laws, 1 Blast, 1 Acid, 1 Sunrise, the 1 Zero, and 1, we get to hard summon this guy, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Side deck here we have triple Lancia, 1 Scythe, 1 copy of Called By, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, triple copies of Shared Red, triple Sanctum, and triple copies of Evenly Matched here, wrapping up what appears to be heroes. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do think that for a good basic package, that this deck is very solid. I think a lot of players here will give this a shot, and honestly, just overall have a very good time with what you can bring to the table with heroes. And it shows that, like, you make a few adjustments, and you're really good to go for this format, ladies and gentlemen. Not too bad, actually. And the last list we actually have here is Cyberse Eldlich. Now, on the other hand, compared to the base decks here, you will notice that in terms of what this deck does, they look very fundamentally the same. All right, you have 1 card Scythe Locks, you know, between the Cyberse Gadget and the Dot Scraper. One thing this build is not doing is not playing the Firewall Guardian. Now, we did see Firewall Guardian pop up much earlier on in the Zohair Khan build, which took a lot of players by surprise. Well, fast forward here, you look at this list, you see, guess what's not here, ladies and gentlemen? You don't see a lot of that crazy, like, free value that you saw in those more initial builds. I don't think that's a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. I think that overall you can have some diversity in between your builds, but this build looks like it's way more streamlined to just have access to things. I do see we are playing the Sign of Minings in here. If this deck does get Drone Lockbirded, well, you kind of have a sad day, ladies and gentlemen, and that's kind of what you get. So what do you think about this regional breakdown? Is there anything here that you really want to give a shot? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button. This guys don't miss out more awesome content. And I will see your beautiful faces back here later on the day with some more cool awesome content. You guys stay safe out there. All right, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.